Last month, I made £45,000 in profit selling on Amazon FBA. I'm Felix and I've been selling on Amazon since 2022. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down for you guys my entire journey from trading Roblox items back when I was just 13 years old, right through to making £45,000 in profit. Yeah, just in profit alone in a single month. If you're an Amazon seller and you are struggling to break through the £10,000 a month barrier, then this video is definitely for you. Or if you're someone that's just looking for a way to make a bit of extra money online, then this video is also for you. Because whilst making 45 grand in a single month is life-changing, I'm not actually that special. And I honestly do believe that any Amazon seller could do what I have done over these past few years. And I've seen it, in my mentorship program, I've taken students from struggling sellers with limited capital availability and taught them advanced sourcing strategies, which has allowed them to transform their Amazon businesses. One of my students, a guy called Sam, actually makes more money than me now. He made £62,000 in profit in just 1 month. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some of these very same strategies that I've used to scale to this point, also while I tell you my story along the way. So there you have it. This is my journey from £0 to 45 grand in a single month. So my first ever online business was literally just selling items on the video game Roblox. So I used to be addicted to this as a kid. Loved building games and all sorts of stuff like that. But I very quickly realized that there was quite a big black market on the Roblox site. I don't know if there still is. I mean, I haven't played the game in years, but there was a lot of people that wanted to trade certain items like collectibles, stuff like that. And some of these collectibles would go for, $50, $100, even $1,000. And at that point, that might as well have been millions to me. I mean, I didn't get loads of pocket money or anything like that. So if I wanted money to go out and enjoy being a kid, I had to find it through the internet. And that was probably my first kind of taste of internet money, just trading these video game items with people, getting, a couple dollars at a time. I never made any like crazy money off it. But at the time, it was enough to get by, enough that once a week I could treat myself to a Domino's pizza with my friends or something like that at the park, And this is also probably the first time that I was able to just recognize like a gap in the market, like the demand for something that I could potentially profit off. And I've definitely tried to bring those skills over to Amazon. And then I got my first taste of actually reselling through eBay and Shopify. So, it's all great, earning $10 here and there when you're 13. But as I grew up and I was hitting like 15, 16, I just needed more money to go out, more money to have fun. And, Roblox is only going to get me so far. I also just wasn't really that interested in the game anymore. My kind of prospects for life were going elsewhere. My interests were going elsewhere. So just kind of cut all that off. I started just selling odd bits on eBay and stuff like that. A lot of computer stuff. Like I've always been really interested in tech. So one thing that I used to do, for example, was just buying old computers, sticking Windows 10 on them, sticking on Microsoft Office, and just flipping them for a small profit. And being able to turn 20, 30 quid into 50 or 100 quid at that age was just mind-blowing to me. But to be honest, I had no sense of financial literacy. I mean, I literally spent all of this money. I probably don't have a penny of that left over. It basically went all on just Domino's pizza, going out and just buying stupid stuff. Fast forward to age 16, and I just hit that age that if you're in the UK, you can actually ride a moped at 16. And that unlocked some level of freedom for me. I was just like, I need a moped. So that was the first time I started saving up money. I realized I needed about £1,000 to buy the bike that I wanted. But very quickly, my mum was like, no, that's not happening. Like, I mean, I would have been able to if I wanted to buy one, but she was like, Felix, if you just wait 1 year, I'll pay for your driving lessons, just get a car, because mopeds are a death trap. And honestly, probably for the best, because knowing how clumsy I am, there's a good chance I would have crashed it. So yeah, at age 16, I started saving money, and I did start saving money, did manage to save up about £1,000 for this moped. But then obviously my plans of actually getting one were kind of blown out the water. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just wait for a car. So then I had a bit of money to play with, I had about £1,000 saved up, and I was like, well, if I'm not gonna be spending this on a moped, what can I spend on? How can I use this money to make myself a little bit more money for the future? All right, so that takes you up to like age 16, 17. And at this point, I've got about £1,000 in savings. I want to make more money, and I don't really have a clear business plan, to be honest. I've been flipping a few things like eBay, Shopify, etc., but nothing had really stuck, and nothing was at the point where it was like scalable, and I wasn't going to be able to make $1 million off what I was doing right now. Basically, I was making small money, which is great, at that age, but I wanted more, much more. I wanted to buy my own house. I wanted to have a supercar. I wanted like everything, right? As I'm sure everyone watching here would love, right? I just wanted true financial freedom so I can make the most out of life and just not really stress about money. So I had a few different ideas, but the thing that I eventually just ran with was something where I was basically working as an agent for smaller clothing brands. So essentially what I would be doing is just buying low and selling high, exactly as I'm still doing with Amazon now, where I was basically just finding blank clothing suppliers based in China or factories that would be able to create custom designs for clothing brands. I would then reach out to a huge amount of really small clothing brands, like ones you've never even heard of. They've got like 100 followers on Instagram, probably not even around as of the date of me releasing this video, but just, you know, really small brands that are basically clueless in terms of, you know, global logistics and getting stuff manufactured in China, but still have a bit of money to pay for their designs. And that kind of gave me the idea of, like, if I can buy a printed tracksuit for say £10 and I can sell it to these clothing brands for £20 or £30 per piece, and then they're expecting to sell it to their customers for £40, £50, £60 per piece, that's going to be a really good markup for me in that first initial part, because I'm putting in a tenner basically and I'm getting back maybe even £30, so I'm tripling my money on every sale. And this went ridiculously well, to be honest. I just had the marketing on lock. I just reached out to loads of different brands, just went absolutely ham on it. As I grew as well and had more capital to work with and placing these orders was less of an issue, I also opened up lines of credit with some of my kind of larger buyers, where I would then, you know that they were going to pay in 30 days and I would be able to get their order moving so that it was ready to ship to their customers much sooner than it would have been had they gone any other route. Now, this business was amazing, and honestly I managed to flip about £1 grand or two that I started with into literally hundreds of thousands in the space of just a couple years. Timing wise as well, it worked out really well because I was doing my A-levels at the time. COVID hit, so I was no longer going to school. I no longer had actual exams. So I basically just spent my entire free time, I mean literally like every single hour of the day would just be me doing this business. I was insanely locked in, you know, exactly as I am still with Amazon, where I was just, you know, the second I wake up, I'd be thinking about how I can progress the business further. And as I said, it worked really well, but there was one key flaw to this plan. And that was when the clients gradually scale, you know, they're placing bigger and bigger orders, giving me more money, and that's all great. But eventually they're gonna realize that, hold on, this guy's just charging us way too much money for all this stuff, when we could just go on AliExpress, go on DHgate or wherever else these suppliers were based and just order it for way cheaper. And so eventually I kind of got cut out of the business, you know, as does often happen when you're just kind of middlemaning that hard in a business. When the clients scale to a certain point, they get to that point where they'll just go around you because they have the funds to and they have the knowledge to be able to do that. So this whole business really just relied on me bringing in more clients all the time, and basically as my bigger clients scaled, they almost certainly at some point were going to cut me off. And honestly, I just started to lose interest in it a bit as well. It just kind of turned into a job. Like, it was really exciting at first, and then it just kind of got really boring, and the money was kind of decreasing. Sales were starting to drop off as I was putting less effort into like marketing, because I just wasn't as kind of committed to it as I once was. And in 2022 I decided to sell the business to someone else. I decided, you know, this is it, I've hit my kind of max profit goal. I've made way more than I ever kind of planned to start out when I've made that business in the first place. And I decided that was the time where I just kind of sell what I've got left and try something new. So in mid 2022, after I sold this business, I ended up with, you know, being in an amazing position for someone my age. I would have been like 18, 19 years old, and I had, you know, a few $100 saved up from that business, as well as kind of the exit liquidity as well from selling the company. And after taking just a few months off, I eventually kind of stumbled upon Amazon. I kind of had my goals set between either doing Amazon FBA or reselling shoes, kind of going back to my interest in like fashion and streetwear at the time. But I ended up settling on Amazon. I mean, I gave shoes a real good go, but I didn't really get anything good. And to be honest, the sneaker market was completely dying at this point. I mean, people were happy to get an extra 10 quid for each pair they were getting, and I just didn't see the scalability in that. I mean, you're just kind of restricting yourself to one specific niche product. Whilst with Amazon, you're selling everything. You're selling beauty products, you're selling health products, you're selling computers, you're selling absolutely anything. I mean, I've sold basically anything you can possibly name. I've probably sold it at some point. It's kind of ridiculous. So at this point in my life, a lot of stuff was changing as well. I'd bought a flat with the money from my previous company, so that was amazing. I mean, buying a flat in cash at that age was mind-blowing, even though it's only a small one-bed place, but still was a major achievement. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I was really feeling like I made it at this point in life. I was also starting university. I was going on to do software engineering. This had been the dream of mine for basically my entire life, really. It was always the goal to go into software, get some really high-paying job doing software engineering. But it just didn't really pan out like that. So I started Amazon at basically the exact same time as I started uni, in about September of 2022, got my first sale in October of 2022. And this was great, but I very quickly realized that I was a lot more interested in doing and scaling Amazon than I was in actually doing university studies. And then about 6 months into starting university and starting this new business, I managed to hit £10,000 profit in a single month from just selling stuff on Amazon. And that was the point where I realized, all right, this isn't just a side hustle that's gonna kind of help me through uni and earn a bit of money on the side. This is something that I really need to take seriously. And honestly, I basically need to drop everything to focus on this 100%. Like if I'm able to make £10,000 in a month from just 6 months of starting this business, who knows where I could be a couple years down the line, you know, as I have obviously proved. So I basically dropped out of uni. I thought about it a lot, and I figured that if I want to go back to uni, I've always got that option. You know, you can go back to uni at any age in the UK. It's not really an issue, but Amazon is something that I needed to act on now, because who knows how long it's going to be around. I mean, it's still alive and kicking now. Obviously the game evolves every year, but I know that uni is always going to be an available thing for me. And you know, 10 years down the line, maybe Amazon won't be around, or at least in the same kind of form it is now. So who knows? I just knew that there was a business opportunity right there, right now, that could change my life well and truly, like more than I'd already changed it so far through previous ventures. And that was something that I needed to focus all of my energy on. So then let's fast forward to Q4 2024. So I'd now been doing the business 2 years now, and mate, what a journey it had been. So Q4 started off with an absolute banger month. We've got October of 2024, and in that month, I did over £50,000 profit. Profit, not revenue. I'm safe to say this is my biggest month yet. I mean, by quite a long shot. I think I did over 300K in revenue and an average ROI of about 34%, which is really, really high. I just had some absolute bangers this month. Did about 2,300 units, just to give you a kind of a scale of the sort of items that I'm selling. I tend to sell a lot of higher priced items. I just find it's the easiest way to just maximize your revenue. But it wasn't just me who had an amazing October of 2024. It was also beaten by one of my mentorship students, Sam, the guy that I mentioned earlier in this video. He managed to do £62,000 in profit in just October. And these results were kind of widespread amongst all of my mentorship clients, really. I mean, everyone just seemed to have a really good month this month. I don't know what it was about October, but yeah, we all absolutely smashed it. And then Q4 as a whole for that year, so last Q4, I did about just under 100K in profit. It was my like whole goal to do 100K or more in profit, and I think I got like 96 or like ridiculously close to it, which I cannot complain about. I mean, for a business I'd started 2 years prior to just pay for uni and just kind of get me through my studies, that's absolutely crazy. But this Q4 wasn't just about maximizing profit. I mean, obviously that's like the main goal, but it was also a lot to do with me kind of almost taking a step back from the business. It was earlier in 2024 that I went away to Thailand for 3 months. You know, where I am now, I've been lucky enough to come back again this month. And when I went away for 3 months, I took a bit of a step back from the business and really relied on the outsourcing that I've put in place. I really relied on my team of VAs working in the Philippines who were sourcing products for me and just running the admin behind the scenes, you know, making sure all my items actually end up at Amazon and actually all get sold. And then I was also making sure that I could rely on my prep centers. So these are the warehouses that I use that aren't run by me directly, but I send all of my stock there, and then they just prep it up, label it, and send it off to Amazon for further fulfillment. So after going to Thailand and seeing that I could indeed run the business from just anywhere in the world and not have to worry about being actually in the country, when it came to October and November in 2024, I went on a huge amount of holidays. I think it was November that I actually went to 4 different countries across 2 different continents. I went to Germany, I went to the Netherlands, I went to the US, I got to fly to New York and visit WAP, which is a company that I work with. And then I also went to Paris at the end of the month, which was just a really, really nice close to the kind of long many weeks of traveling. And so I was able to do all this while still pumping out really good sales numbers throughout Q4. And you know, to be honest, if I was back in the UK, fully locking in, working longer hours than I was, I probably could have surpassed that 100K mark. But at this point, it's not even the numbers on the screen that mean a lot to me. It's what I'm able to do with my free time, you know, having the freedom to jet off to Thailand on a whim and just come here for a month. That's really what I'm aiming for now in the business, not just huge numbers. Because there definitely comes a point where numbers are just numbers. It's meaningless, you know, and it's not like I spend any of the profits. I reinvest every single penny back into the business. So for me, it's just all about freedom. And then let's talk about the present day, so 2025. So far this year, I've been killing it. I'm not gonna lie, the sales results have been through the roof. I mean, last month, I managed to hit £46,000 in profit in just that month. And that goes to show that, you know, Q4, it wasn't just a fluke because it was near Christmas. You know, this is an actual scalable long-term model where I could consistently deliver these kinds of crazy results. And it's not just me as well. A big focus for my year really is just focusing on the mentorship side of my business as well. So I'm scaling up loads of different sellers. Sellers like Sam, sellers like Scott and Wes have all done really well by implementing the strategies that I've been talking to them about for the past, 6 months. And it's definitely a big focus of mine to continue scaling the mentorship side of my business, as well as my new kind of management role at Live Cops, which is a huge Discord group focusing on scaling beginner Amazon sellers. I'm also just going to travel loads. I mean, I'm out in Thailand now. I'm currently on PP Island, which is just a kind of a mind-blowing sort of place. Well worth a visit if you're ever out here. But I'm going to continue to do that sort of shit, all whilst just running my businesses from my laptop. That's really the main goal of this year. Obviously, I want to make a load of money. I'll be really, really happy if I can hit the millionaire mark, but at the end of the day, it all just comes down to how I can just have the most enjoyable year possible. I just want to spend the most time doing what I want on my terms and not having to stress about anything. I'm also currently in the stage of actually buying my second property. So I'm going to be selling the flat that I bought back in 2022 and upgrading to a 3-bed house. I'm also then going to be renovating it over the next kind of year or two. So I'll be hopefully adding a lot to the property value. And we'll kind of be just seeing that as like a kind of an exit almost to some of the liquidity I have in Amazon. Because, Amazon's great. Amazon's a big capital game. You need a lot of money in Amazon to, hit these crazy high numbers. But as great as that is, there definitely comes a point where you want to take a little bit of money out of the company and just stick it in something else, just for the sake of not having all your eggs in one basket. It's just kind of logical, really. And yeah, I mean, basically to sum it all up, my plans for the rest of the year is just continue scaling all of my companies and continue just kind of putting on everyone else to how amazing Amazon FBA can be if you just take it really seriously and just dedicate as much of your time as possible, at least in the beginning whilst you're getting the systems in place. And yeah, just kind of sharing some knowledge with you guys. So there you have it. That is my full story of my entrepreneurship journey from being a broke teenager playing Roblox to making multi-5 figures in profit every single month. And even now, I'm not hitting 50 grand every single month. The slight income fluctuations are natural with Amazon. But I am optimistic that I'm going to be in and around the 45 grand mark from here on out. And if you do take anything from this video, I want you to understand that it is possible to make these insane amounts of money from Amazon. And this can be hard to believe when you're in those early stages of the journey and you're sourcing products from Boots for £1 or £2 profit per unit and barely earning enough money to cover your costs. But this is why I've created my Amazon mentorship program, which helps you start or scale your Amazon FBA business so that you have all the skills required to build a £10,000 a month income stream from Amazon FBA. And Sam, the guy that I mentioned a few times in this video, he was one of the first students ever to sign up to my mentorship program back in May 2023. And since then, he's become one of the largest Amazon sellers in the entire of the UK. And he earns consistently 60 grand profit every single month. My mentorship program includes 12 hours of one-to-one calls, regular group sessions, exclusive product leads, and 10 hours of video courses, as well as much, much, much more. So if you'd like to follow in Sam's footsteps and learn everything there is to know about Amazon FBA directly from me, you can book in a free discovery call with me by clicking the first link down in the video description. And finally, make sure you like and subscribe if you found this video useful. I'm sure you guys enjoy seeing what life on PP Island is like. And you can click up here to learn more about Sam and how the mentorship program has changed his life.